Hello, Bigfoot enthusiasts. Scott here from Squatch America.
And Hannah, domestic artist, chief cook, doggy mama, and proud bearer of a hodag. In the paddy wagon tonight.
We're back. Did you miss us?
Squatch America, we're on the trail, chasing down the mystery through the rain and hail, with a knock on a tree and a howl in the night. With Squatch America, gonna get it right.
Hello.
It has been forever and a week.
A week. Yeah, forever and a week. So how long is forever?
I don't know, 5 weeks?
5 weeks.
6 weeks? I don't even remember this last time we had a live show.
I know. Hi, Dawn. And I'm glad you guys are coming back in. There's Renee and Lee and Scott. Hi, brother.
And local Squatch.
And local Squatch, yeah. He just said he posted a
picture of himself with the cast that he won on our 2000th show.
200th. We've been gone a while. Okay.
Anyway, thanks for the shout out.
Thanks for everybody coming in. Yeah, so tonight's show's going to be a little
Off the cuff,
like where we've been and what we've been doing, and
the story of the hodag.
And the story of the hodag. Yeah. So if you're a Wisconsinner, is that how they're called?
No,
Anyway.
they're cheeseheads.
If you're a cheesehead.
See, I'm a cheesehead too. See? Yep.
Yes, she got her cheese hat.
Not my cheesehead. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Lee. We're gonna talk a little bit about the hodag, I guess. Like I said, if you're a Wisconsinner, you know what I'm talking about. So,
all right. Anyway, yes. Let's see. When did we leave? We left, I think, on April 30th or May 1st.
I don't remember one of those days, and we headed to Wisconsin. I thought I had a thing. There it is. We went up to see Barnaby and Lee. And we hung out at the Cryptid Anomalies and Paranormal Conference. It was a lot of fun. We had quite a few people there. I got to meet Stacy Brown. I had never met him before. Great guy, by the way.
And the lady from Tennessee.
And the lady from Tennessee that you can't remember her name.
I can't remember. Well, pull up the poster and I'll tell you her name. Oh my goodness. Miranda Young, yes, and Chad Lewis. And a lot of these people we will be having on the show sometime as soon as we can get all that arranged. We literally just got back to Texas 2 days ago.
Yep.
3 days ago. Yes. It was Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, we got back Sunday and we've been in a torrential downpour since. First night we got back, we had tornado warnings already. And then today it's been raining constantly and the lake is getting closer.
There was a small lake encroachment when I took the dog out just now.
Yeah,
just saying.
So.
Yeah. Okay. So stop being squirreled.
Okay. So what?
All right. So anyway.
What happened? So first of all, on the Friday before the conference, we got to go out and have dinner with a whole bunch of Bigfoot enthusiasts, and we split that whole group into 3 different groups. Hannah and I took one group into the woods, and then Barnaby took a group, and then Stacy took a group, right? I think that's how that works.
I think so, yes.
And so we walked out to an old quarry. Actually, it was kind of cool, and this is near a town called Mountain, Wisconsin, and I guess that's the closest town. So we hung out and did a little exploring around. Basically, no Bigfoot stuff. I did see an X in my thermal, but those are you know.
You did have a pretty close encounter with some monsters, though. You brought them home with you.
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
But, and I think my buddy Scott Goebel will appreciate this. The only thing we found on our Bigfoot hunt was a UFO.
It's true. It's so true.
So we were out there.
And we watched it for a long time.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I saw this bright light in the sky. Yeah, and Lee said all three of the groups, and they were in different locations, and we weren't talking to each other. We didn't have radios or anything. So my group was by the quarry, and then the other couple were probably half a mile away from each other. And all three groups saw it. So it was a light in the sky. So picture the moon here and this light in the sky right here. I'm going to try to do this backwards. And it started moving. And I thought, that's going to pass right in front of the moon. So I was watching it. So I thought, okay, if it's a satellite, it's just going to keep going straight because that's what satellites do. But this went like this, and then it turned and went this way over our heads. So I don't know what it was. It wasn't playing. And we did record it. I didn't have it. I should have had the recording up here for you guys to see, but I did not think about doing that.
You've lost your rhythm.
I lost my rhythm. So
we both kind of lost our rhythm. It's been a long month and a half.
Yeah.
I would say it's been a long month and a half. We are glad to be back in Texas and glad to kind of have a little bit of direction, sort of, kind of. Anyway, so what else did we do after that?
Okay, so the next day we had fun at the event all day long. I got to listen to all the guest speakers, and I love when event planners set it up so that all the speakers are in the room where the speaking is happening. Because a lot of times we'll be in another room somewhere, and I literally don't get to listen to anybody else speak because I'll be back at my booth and stuff. And this was great that we had where our booth was. It was right next to Stacy, so I get to meet him, talk with him all day long. And then you were sitting on the other side with
Miranda Young.
So she got to hang out with her all day long. And it gives us a chance to get to know these people, you know. And so that was a lot of fun. Sold a few books, signed a few books.
Sold a few casts.
Yeah, sold a few casts.
Sold a few bottles of Squatch Off.
Yeah. And speaking of Squatch Off, I'm trying to see how long we've been on. Not very long. Okay.
Speaking of Squatch Off.
Speaking of Squatch Off, I'm looking for the button.
Introducing Squatch Off, the all-natural bug spray made for Bigfoot hunters and outdoor adventurers, formulated to disrupt insect hormones, making you invisible to pests. No harsh chemicals, just nature working for you. Repel the bugs, not the Bigfoot. Stay bite-free, naturally.
Get yours at SquatchAmerica.com.
Yeah, so we really got to put it to the test. When we first came up with the formulation and was testing the different formulations before we came out with the one that worked, we were down here in the south, and you know we have mosquitoes here, but and we have chiggers and we have ticks and no-see-ums.
And scorpions.
Yeah.
I met my first scorpion yesterday. It was that big. No, it was this big. And when we walked past it, it went. And I wisely took Daisy across the road.
Yeah.
Could have sprayed it with Squatch Off if I'd had it. I wonder what would have happened. It probably would have jumped on me and killed me.
It might have. So this is our first chance to test it in the woods on that night we went out on that Bigfoot, research expedition with all the people. So Wisconsin has mosquitoes.
They've got
Like-
B-52s, man.
like Maine does, like any of the heavy woodland places. And
B-52 bombers.
yeah, so I put it on. We went out into the woods, and usually I'm a buffet for mosquitoes, and so this time I had mosquitoes landing on me.
What the heck
What?
just fell down? That was inside the house.
Something just hit the side of the house. Okay, anyway, I don't know what that
Or was that a tree
It was
branch?
a tree branch or something. We are in a storm. So anyway, the mosquitoes, actually, I saw one land on me, then get all confused and fly away. So it was awesome. Now, I noticed Scott mentioned something. I'm guessing it doesn't work with ticks. So here's the deal, Scott. When I got home, we found I had 7 ticks on me when we got back, because it's like early spring tick season. So I had like
Well, they weren't on you when we did the tick check.
when we got
When
Yeah,
we got in the
the
house,
house.
they weren't on
they
you.
were on me. That's when we found them. There was I had like 7 ticks on me. But here's the deal. They had been on me for hours and they didn't bite me. They're still just crawling around. So I don't know if they work or not on ticks, but it didn't keep them off me. I can guarantee you that. But they did not bite me.
I can tell you this. Daisy did not pick up one tick.
Yeah, we soaked Daisy down and took her for walks in the woods, and she never got any ticks on her either.
All right. So Jimmy Watkins, welcome, by the way, our friend that we met in Falk a few months ago.
Yeah.
A bottle of Squatch Off is $25 for 4-ounce bottle. And it's actually, and on the website, it is $30, but that includes the shipping. So, this is a proprietary formula. It is made with very high-end, all-natural oils and decoctions. And so this is not your run-of-the-mill Rite Aid garbage.
Yeah, and I saw somebody earlier ask what the active ingredients is. It is,
You want me to do this?
yeah, you know them all. And it doesn't have DEET, it doesn't have any of that stuff. It's all natural.
It is a blend of neem oil and American Beauty Berry decoctions and a variety of essential oils, but it is a proprietary, so I'm not going to give you all the percentages of that.
Yeah.
So,
But what it does is
we worked with an herbalist to come up with this, and so.
So what the deal is, it messes with the mosquito's hormones. So when they come close to you, they can't figure out what you are. So basically, that's kind of a generic way to say it. And we found out it works. It works well.
And you can buy it.
Said,
yeah, you can buy it directly off the website. And if you are uncomfortable putting your information, our servers are very well locked down, and you always have the option to send cash to our address if you wanted, or a check to our address. You can email us and sort something out, or use Zelle or whatever.
Whatever, yeah. So, or PayPal or whatever. Yeah. So, speaking of addresses, where do you live now, Hannah?
I'm a Texan.
Yes. We have a mailing address.
Which you will see changed on all of our information over the next few months.
Yeah. So we're proud residents of Emory, Texas now. So there's that. And there's a reason for that. One, it's a good central place for us, I think, for traveling. So instead of having to travel, 4,000 miles across the country to go somewhere, now we'll only have to travel 2. So there's that. So we'll get into a little more of that later. But what we're going to do is, okay, so that was CapCon.
And what happened right after CapCon?
Okay, so the next weekend after CapCon, we were hanging out there. We had to hang out for 2 more 3 more weeks, something like that.
Mhm.
Anyway, because we had set up a veterans outing up there in Wisconsin, so we had to wait for that. So we were just hanging out.
What happened the day after the festival?
Oh, the day after the festival.
You almost forgot the best part.
The best. Yeah, the best part. We got to do something I had done like once or twice before, but we got to go with Barnaby and the Caps team and do a ghost hunt, ghost investigation. That's the word. We got to do a ghost investigation, and I had no idea where we were going. They just give us an address. I showed up the address, and then we went inside, and it wasn't open. It was closed. So it
Legally can't be open on a Sunday.
It was
wink,
on a
wink.
Sunday. Yeah, where we were there on a Sunday, and it legally can't be open on a Sunday because it is a strip club, not a bar. They are alcohol free.
An alcohol-free strip, 18 and older strip club.
Strip club, full nudity strip club, by the way.
Yes, fully.
So it was kind of interesting. So we went in there and set up our equipment because a lot of Bigfooting equipment, thermals, night vision, audio recorders, all that stuff, works with ghosts too. So we set our stuff up and got to hang out for a few hours. We did some ghost taunting and
Ghost taunting?
yeah, I taunted the ghost because there was supposedly a story where you sit in one corner of this bar. But they do have a bar, but it's not a bar.
It's a non-alcoholic bar.
Yeah. So,
You can get some nice mocktails.
yeah. So you can sit. I guess there's this one where this ghost is, and if you occupy his corner, he gets mad at you. So I occupied his corner just to see what would happen. We did have some of my EMF detector go off every once in a while, which was kind of odd. It was going off at odd times. It shouldn't have gone off at all, just sitting still. But every once in a while, it would go off. That was kind of cool.
Okay, so anyway, we did a ghost investigation at a strip club.
Strip club. There you go.
I got absolutely no interaction. I was very disappointed, and I let the ghosts know that on my way out.
There you go. So
let them have it. It's like, what a waste. I mean, I will never get 6 hours back, ever. Or
so
4
I
hours back.
forgot what town that was in.
I don't know, but the place is called Bean Snappers, and you can look it up.
Yeah, Bean Snappers. So
anyway, it's got quite an interesting...
I have my brain's attachment because Hannah cussed one out and left. It might have come with her. I don't know.
I don't think they like me. I'm too skeptical. Anyway, it actually has a fantastic history, and that was probably the best part of the day, was learning the history of the establishment. So then
no, I did not get any tips there, buddy.
Some of us do not do that sort of thing.
Yeah. I did do a magic trick there's one little spot that was upstairs where they used to have a ballroom, and it had like a ticket booth, and inside the ticket booth they had some cards spread out because apparently the old ticket guy used to like cards or something. So I actually did a magic trick, and it didn't work. It should have worked, but it didn't work. And I thought it was so weird because, and actually I was supposed to make a card, put the card in the middle of the deck and make it reappear on the top of the deck thing, and it didn't reappear on the top of the deck. I'm like, okay, that sucks. So I turned it around, opened up the cards, and that card was not in the deck anymore. I thought, oh, that's kind of weird. So I went down and told Barnaby, and we went up and did it again, and it worked that time. And then I'm like, I can't figure out what it is. And Barnaby started going through the cards, and it just so happened that the one card that was in there stuck to another card, and I don't know. I don't want to even think about why they stuck together. So we just left it at that. So, but that was the only weird thing that happened.
All right, that's enough from bean snappers. Okay. I hope the snapping of the bean is not a metaphor for something else.
No, it's
actually not. That stuff is highly forbidden, and
yeah. So anyway, the bean snappers happens to do with a law that it's called the bean snappers clause in some law in Wisconsin that allowed them to put this there. So that's why they named the club. It was actually named after some little
something in a code
quirk in the local code, and something that it was named the bean snappers clause or something like that.
Anyway,
Lisa, you and Barney had a magic job, and we were just looking for cards.
This is the closest that you really need to do magic together sometime. That'd be fun.
So that was fun. So next weekend, I did not even know this was happening, but Barnaby told us, and he was up there. He had set up a booth, but I didn't know the next weekend was the
Hodag Festival.
The Hodag Festival in Rhinelander.
Just so squishy and cute.
So
this is my very own Hodag Smarshmallow or whatever. Smushmallow.
Anyway,
he's so squishy.
So
look, he's got a tail.
Yep.
All right.
If
that's the Hodag.
That's the Hodag.
I'm a Hodag.
Hannah's a Hodag.
Yep. It's my new nickname. Hey, Hodag.
Yeah. So if for those of you who don't know, and it's something I had seen on, watching all these cryptid shows and stuff that I watch all the time and doing cryptid research. I've run across the Hodag a whole bunch of times. And I always thought, and it's Rhinelander, Wisconsin's, it's their mascot for the whole town. It's painted on the water tower.
It's in front of the city hall. The welcome center.
The welcome center has a giant Hodag sculpture. And so what it is the story of the Hodag was created by a gentleman. I can't remember the year. It was
at least a century ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But anyway, he had created the Hodag to get people to come to Rhinelander to go Hodag hunting, because they made this whole legend up about this green creature with spines down its back, and so he created this whole legend behind it, and then used it for tourism, basically.
And they're still doing it. And they milk it for all it's worth. And they have no problem saying that this is totally fake. And here are some amazing stories.
Yeah.
And you really get sucked into it.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's kind of a fun thing. So, and I always wanted to go see that Hodag statue, and so I got to do it.
Yes. And we even put Daisy in doggy daycare so we could, do it and not worry about the dog.
Yeah. Lee Warner says,
the Hodag is a magical creature that creates money. Yes. See, and I brought it home. Yeah. So we better start creating some money, bud.
Yeah. So, well, it took some of our money.
Yeah, it took a lot of our money.
So that was kind of fun. We got to go to the Hodag Festival, and we got to see Chad again.
And if you don't know who Chad Lewis is, tell me about.
Book here.
Chad investigates weird stuff all over the country.
Writes books about it. So we picked up a book about he had all the weird stuff in Texas, which was really kind of cool. So we grabbed his book and brought it back to Texas with us, so we can do a little weird stuff investigations in Texas.
Yep. All right. Well, it is now. Gosh, we've been going on for 25 minutes. Do we have another commercial?
We got this one.
Imagine having high-speed internet no matter where you are. With Starlink, that dream is now reality. No more buffering, lag, or limited access. Starlink connects you to ultra-fast, reliable internet anywhere on Earth. From seamless streaming to intense gaming and productivity, Starlink empowers you to do it all. And here's the best part. Sign up using our exclusive link and get your first month free. Don't miss out on the future of internet. Click the link in our description to get started today. Starlink, revolutionizing internet, one connection at a time. Join now.
All right. And Starlink has a new thing when it just came out. Was it the mini start?
Their equipment has gotten a lot smaller. They have they've got a mini one, and they've got several different packages. If you a lot of people have come to us and say, you know what, I don't want to spend $165 a month on internet. Please understand, we spend a lot on internet because we use a crap ton of internet, and we have to have it, all the time, everywhere, no matter where we go. If you are just like a household person and you just want some really great internet, you can get a monthly Starlink service for $50 a month, which is, I think up to 50 gigabytes. If you are not uploading and downloading and doing media work and all that, that is usually that's a pretty good cap limit for a month. So they have a variety of plans available, a variety of different equipment. They even have equipment now, and this is not something we've invested in yet because this is like a lot of money, but you can, let's say you're on a boat, you can mount their new equipment on your boat, or you can put it on your RV, and it will keep consistent internet as you're going
while you're traveling,
like real time. You don't even have to set it up, from place to place. You just strap it to your car and boom. So anyway, yeah.
So that's kind of cool. I mean, we're not there yet, but
we'll get there.
So anyway, so we went to the Hodag Festival. After that, what did we do? We hung out for a couple of weeks. We got to go visit. We hung out in Sturgeon Bay. Sturgeon Bay.
If you want a nice vacation week, go up to, I don't know what it is, Door County, Wisconsin. They do the best things with cherries I have ever tasted in my life. Yeah. Do not read anything inappropriate into that. I will just say that cherry jalapeno jam is thebomb.com.
Yes, it is. Oh, and one other thing. I was completely disappointed, and I'm going to piss off a lot of Texans right now. But one of my favorite things at Buc-ee's in Texas is the
Beaver
Nuggets, which is a caramel honey
corn
puff. And they're awesome. And we got up to Wisconsin, and we went into a farm store. It was
just a little farm market, local farmers set up their own market.
Yeah. And in there they had these things packaged that looked exactly like
Beaver Nuggets.
And I thought, are they ripping off Buc-ee's? And then I bought some and tried them, and they were
better,
but they were the exact same thing. And then I found out
they're better because they're Amish.
They're Amish crack is what they are. Come to find out, this was invented by the Amish, and it was
go Amish.
It was a thing,
and Buc-ee stole it.
So the Amish crack was the corn puffs were beaver nuggets before there were beaver nuggets. So
And Don said he used to live in Sturgeon Bay.
wow, Don, I did not know
I
that.
know.
That's awesome.
Do not go to Door County Candy Company, not because the candy's not awesome, but because they will rob you blind.
Yes.
They will empty your pockets for a piece of dark chocolate covered cherry
They will.
cluster.
It was expensive. Oh my gosh. But
Anyway, but
the Door County Candy Company, it's like an old fashioned
soda counter.
They make their own candy right there in front of you. It's pretty awesome. And believe it or not, they had a bunch of retro candy in the back.
Oh yes.
We got some of the retro
The Reeds, the rolls of Reeds, little Reeds hard candies. He got the root beer and I got the butterscotch. My little roll of butterscotches lasted me about 2 weeks. How long did your root beers last you?
About a day. But anyway, and they also had candy cigarettes. We didn't buy any. I was tempted, but they had the old-fashioned candy cigarettes. If you remember that from back in the day,
nah,
they had them all.
goodness gracious.
They had everything, and they had ice cream. So it was fun.
Anyway, we found a great Irish pub in the middle of Sturgeon Bay that had some fantastic eats and drinks and
yeah. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. So that was our vacation for the year.
a week in Sturgeon Bay.
A week in Sturgeon Bay. And then
I want to go back. I would love to. I mean, we stood right on the shore of Lake Michigan.
Yep. And we stood right on the shore of Green Bay.
Of Green Bay, yes.
Because you can go one way to Green Bay and the other way is Lake Michigan.
And anyway, okay. So, and then it was our... yes. And I tell you what, okay. So I always assume this is going to be a ladies thing, but it could be that men like a Cobb salad. It's usually, I've got some food restrictions and I really do try to keep things as healthy as possible for myself, but I ordered the Cobb salad, you know how on a Cobb salad, you usually get grilled chicken on it? This Cobb salad came with corned beef.
Yep.
And I literally was the best thing I've ever put in my mouth. Corned beef Cobb salad. Don graduated from high school in Kewanee.
Speaking of that, why does none of the names for any of the cities have any consonants in them at all? They're all vowels. I mean, impossible to pronounce 90% of the towns in Wisconsin.
I can't even remember the towns like we were camping in, except for Sturgeon Bay. That was like the most normal name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Sorry,
so moving.
if I'm
no,
begging.
they admit it. They all admit it.
Yeah.
So they're all indigenous names.
Yeah,
so it's not the cheeseheads that did this. It was the tribes.
Yeah. So
the natives can't speak English, obviously.
Obviously. Okay.
Okay. We better leave that topic. Okay. All right. So, and then we had our Veterans Weekend.
Our Veterans Weekend. Now, here's the deal. Right before we went up for the Veterans Weekend, we had 13 signed up. I had 2 last-minute guys contact me and said, "Sorry, we're not going to make it." So that's fine. So we went and set up. Lee came up and set up the day before with us, and then we had Barnaby show up. Was it the next day Barnaby showed up? Yeah.
No, he showed up.
He might have showed up.
No, he showed up on Thursday.
Okay. So anyway, so we had a fun thing.
No, he showed up on Friday because that's when we watched the movie.
Yeah, he showed up on Friday. I set up a projector screen between a couple trees and my projector, and we got to watch The Legend of Boggy Creek in the forest. And that was kind of a lot of fun. And then 2 veterans showed up, myself and Lee.
None that signed up
came. And it's disappointing. But it happens. So anyway, we had a good time with all of us. Got to know each other. We got to hang out. Walked around, looked for some tree structures and stuff. And then I had this brilliant idea that I was going to grab my hammock, walk out into the woods, and spend the night in my hammock just to see if I could scare up any noises or anything. So we had all our gear running.
Do you have this footage?
Yeah.
We caught something.
I did.
He caught something on
catch
video.
On video. Here's what I caught on video.
Is that where it came after you a bit?
Well, it had no. So I was sitting in my hammock and I heard some rustling in the leaves, and I look up, and about 20 feet away from me, this black bear was walking kind of horizontal. It's about 20 feet away from me, and I'll tell you what, it was one of the biggest black bears I've ever seen. I've seen a lot, this one here was kind of chubby. It was a male. He was big.
Yeah, Scott said he's a real porker.
Yeah, he was fat. So
It had a lot of picnic baskets.
Yeah. So he was about 20 feet away from me. So here's something that Barnaby and I talked about afterwards. As soon as I saw him, I was sitting in my hammock, so I didn't have anything, I reached down and grabbed my 45 caliber bear spray first. And I stuck that in the crook of my arm so I could grab it really quick. And then I grabbed my phone and I thought I hit record, but the adrenaline was pumping and I turned on my camera, but I never hit record. So I thought I was filming it walking beside me. I mean, it was getting closer and closer to me and it kept walking around. It was walking around me. So I thought I stopped the recording, grabbed my phone, grabbed my pistol, started walking back out to the road a little bit to put some distance between me and him. And what I did is I hit record at that point. So all I recorded was the ground and the sky and the stuff when I was walking backwards. And then I got back out and he kept walking towards me further and further. And I got to the opening where I pulled my camera back up and he bluff charged me, which he like kind of huffed at me and took, jumped at me a couple times. So I got the camera back up and then I realized I had not recorded. And that's where I got the recording of him standing there looking at me. That was right after he had bluff charged me once.
Renee, you know it, you goofball.
So here's the deal. You wonder why we can't get video of Bigfoot. This was a bear and I know what they look like, and he's damn close. And I had trying to, make sure I had my bear spray ready to go just in case. And
we do assume that all of you know what he's talking about, bear spray.
45 caliber bear spray, 1911. Colt bear spray. So anyway, and then when he charged me, I huffed at him a couple times, and that's when he turned around and ran off and huffed at me. And he ran, and where he ran was back towards our camp.
Well, Barnaby had heard footsteps the night before.
Yeah.
And which was probably the bear.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, and we've had bear stew once.
Yeah.
I remember it being good until they told me it was bear, and then I went, oh.
Bear's not bad. I don't mind.
It's a little greasy, but
it makes good sausage, actually.
Yes. Okay, so that was our veterans trip. By the way, we have a plethora, which means a lot, of large assortment of limited edition T-shirts that feature the Fallen Outdoors T-shirts that
has our
logo on it. They will never ever again be reproduced. So if you want a T-shirt, they're $20 plus shipping, so probably $25.
$25.
$25 a piece. You can email us your size preference and we will send you an invoice. Okay.
Yep.
And we will be happy to. And all of that money
All of it.
goes directly to the Fallen Outdoors. They sent us the t-shirts to sell when we were assuming that all the people would show up, and none of the people showed up. So we've
we'll be doing another veterans thing here in Texas too. We're under contract to do 3 a year.
we got 2 more to go.
We got 2 more to go.
So, but I would like to unload those t-shirts. So if you want to show your appreciation for the Fallen Outdoors and everything they do for veterans, this is an easy way for you to make sure they get a little bit of something for you, and you'll have a nice new t-shirt. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
So, what's next? Well, anyway, Barbie and I went back and collected my stuff and
together
and brought it back, and we were both had bear spray at that point.
Yes.
So
people are texting me.
Anyway.
Okay. All right. So
Oops.
the bear does associate you with food.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, we went back and got my stuff. I decided not to sleep in my hammock
again.
No, in bear country like that, especially with that one was kind of brazen. You got really close, really fast. So I decided not to be a bear burrito in my hammock. So.
And Lee said she had bear spray too.
Yeah, she did. Okay. So anyway. Moving on. So we finished up there and we made our way back to Texas.
And we're going to be here for a little while. And I want to
15 minutes.
I want to say just off the top, for all of you over in like New York and New England who are planning on us coming, we are so sorry, but we had to change our plans mid-trip. And here's why. The company I worked for decided that they didn't need my position anymore. So with that, 3 weeks notice, you're done. And that's where we are right now. So rather than continuing to travel this year, we came back to Texas to start figuring that out.
Yeah. So Hannah's
currently
got unemployed. So,
and I don't get unemployment because I'm a 1099 contractor.
Right.
So
we've got a couple months saved up. That's not a problem. And I'm getting I'm getting my Social Security, and I have a small stipend from my VA benefits that I get every month. That
we're working on increasing.
We're working on increasing, and that's one of the reasons that brought us to Texas. One, we love Texas. We've been around the country. We've been traveling for 5 years straight. Mm-hmm. I just was counting the stickers. We have a little thing that has the states that this camper that we're in right now has been with us, and we have like a map of the United States, and it has stickers for every state that we've camped in. We have camped in 34 states. This camper and us in it have camped in 34 states in the United States in the last 5 years.
And we don't just keep coming back to Texas. We kept coming back to this community.
Yeah, we kept coming back to this small community here in Texas. We like the area. We like the people. It's just awesome. What was that saying? We weren't born in Texas, but we got here as quick as we could.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's it. So,
but we actually enjoy this place. So we had already paid for a year-long lease at a campground here.
And so very cool that we did.
Yeah. So
because at least we had a home to come to.
We have a home to come to. We have a new address that we'll post on stuff here shortly. We have a mail. What's it called?
It's just it's a mailbox service.
A mailbox service here in town. So you can send stuff to that, and it doesn't give away our actual address. So
because I don't think we can list this as our actual address.
So anyway, so we got that, and we'll be working on getting our Texas driver's license and retagging our truck and all that stuff this year next week.
And for all of you who are saying, I'm so sorry, Hannah. Hey, thank you very much. It was kind of was actually kind of expected. The timing was a little off. I was expecting us to be back here, and I thought I had one more month than I did. But
yeah, it was. Well, I'm not gonna say who they are, but I'm gonna call out how stupid they were. One thing that really ticked me off is they contacted her. I think it was right when we got to Wisconsin, or
no,
before
it was after the festival.
Oh, then they said sorry.
Oh, but before that,
yeah, they had contacted her and said,
we're keeping your department.
No.
Well, okay.
They first told her that, sorry, you're going to be fired at the end of the week. This is your last paycheck. And then they came back the end of the week and said, we decided to keep your position. You're fine. Don't worry about it. And then 2 weeks later, they said, we just got rid of your position. You got to the end of the month and you're done. And it was that roller coaster that really ticked me off.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but anyway, but thank you very much. We actually, when I did the math, I realized that we'd be good for about 3 months. Yes, Texas welcomes all Cajuns, no matter. Good. All right.
Laissez les bon temps relais, my friend.
You got to learn a different phrase. But like Scott said, we actually have enough resources pretty much to get through the summer. And I just applied for what I could not have found a job that matched my skill set and education and experience better. And so,
and for myself, what we're going to be doing the rest of the summer here is, I want to lay that out, is I have a plethora of medical things I have to do with the VA within the next, well, probably all summer.
It'd be much easier to do it sitting in one place.
Yeah. And being able to, make the appointments and stuff I have to do. Not just stuff for my VA disability stuff I have to do, but I also have some medical stuff I have to get taken care of myself. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and we're going to try to nip that in the bud somehow. So I've got a lot of medical stuff I've got to go through this summer. So we're not going to be able to go out and do a lot of squatching, but hold on. Wait, there's more. I am going to, since we're right here, we live on a lake called Lake Tawakoni, which is just outside of Emory, Texas. We live literally on the lake. In fact, I can look out the window and see it getting closer and closer and closer because we've had thunderstorms for 2 days straight. But there's a couple things we want to do. Is the river that flows out of this lake is called the Sabine River, and there's a legend of the Sabine thing, which is a Bigfoot legend. And there are lots of Bigfoot reports in this area, so I am not without a place to Bigfoot. So
and you're not without stuff you can film,
and not without stuff I can film. So I'm gonna continue the survival stuff, doing a lot of instruction with that, and then we're going to I'm working on a full-length documentary on the Sabine thing. And then right up the road here, we got Caddo Lake, which a lot of people know about, the famous Caddo critter, which is another Bigfoot that was actually had photographs. I'd like to say the 70s. Don't quote me on that. But anyway, well, I'm working on a script for a full documentary on them.
And you've got all sorts of survival stuff.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm working on the survival stuff.
Oh, yeah. I missed it. I spaced out there for a minute. Okay, so
this summer we may not be doing our live show as regular as we usually have, because of appointments and things I got to go to, and not having stuff to talk about. That's another problem. But we are going to work on some really good
long form
documentary style, and see how that works.
Yep. So, okay. And as far as getting back to Oregon, that will be in theory, we were looking at getting up there the last week of July, first week of August. But that will be dependent on his appointments, on our financial situation, and if I'm starting, and listen to this, Lee, if I get this new job, which I'm already assuming I will, because I can't imagine anyone who'd be more perfect for it than me. Seriously, and I'm not just tooting my horn. I'm tooting my own horn for a real good reason. But if I get this new job, there are 6 weeks of paid training, and for one of them, we'll have to come back to Wisconsin for a week at their headquarters. Oh, he wants us to talk about the Vietnam hominids, Thomas.
Challenge accepted.
Okay.
Okay.
So it kind of all depends, but once things settle down, we will need to come back to Oregon to get our
because
stuff.
we have stuff. We've had a storage unit for 5 years in Oregon with our stuff.
It'll be 6 years in October.
Yeah.
They've been, talk about people that have just let us financially drive that storage unit.
Yeah. So we need to get back up to get our stuff.
Yes.
So we got to get back up to Oregon.
And for all of you who are staunch defenders of the Second Amendment, my job would be part of that. So yes. Just saying. So there hasn't been a whole lot on the online boards that really made me go, wow. But this one actually popped up today and I immediately jumped on it. It was like, and that's exactly what happened when I got the last job. Yeah. It was like my gut said do it and I got it. So I'm assuming that this will be the same thing. Okay, yes. So still staying in patriotism. Oh, yes, of course we're going to remember people in Selma. We love Selma. We almost bought an acre of land in Selma for $10,000 when the owner had been having a little too much to drink. Because where in Oregon can you buy an acre of land for $10,000? Yeah. They're more like 50 anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and that's one of the places we'll be back.
Eventually we will get back there.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, we'll be going to Grants Pass.
Oh, so if you want to buy some Squatch Off, go to the Bigfoot place in Cave Junction. He's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it for sale.
Yeah.
And so
the Bigfoot.
The Rick's place. Bigfoot print and copy or whatever. He's carrying
Cave
it.
Junction, he carries it.
Yeah. So drive out there, get and buy you some that way.
Yep.
And he's already paid us for it, so you still support us.
Yep. Oh,
Terry. Oh, see, you almost sold us an acre for $10,000. Remember that? You probably don't remember that, do you?
That was fun.
Okay.
That was a fun night. Love you, Terry.
Oh, let us know, Janice. We are coming to the end of our first run, so and we've got a couple people that want to sell it at festivals this summer. So please let me know. So
I think we're down to 21 bottles left from our first run. And I think we got another one in the works soon. So
or we will.
We will. And another thing we're going to be doing to make a few extra buckies here. Yeah, buckies. A few other dollars is we're actually going to be, there's a couple flea markets like,
this is Flea Market Central.
Flea Market Central around here. They have these standing flea markets, and there's a really cool one down the road from us. And what's the name of that town? What's the name of the town that way?
Sulphur Springs.
No, that way across.
Canton?
No, where we go to the Big Berkshires.
Quinlan.
There's one in Quinlan, Texas. That has. It's discounted now. Thanks, Terry. In Quinlan, they have a a weekly flea markets Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is kind of cool. They took over an old storage unit place, and you can rent one of the storage units, and then every week you just open up the door and your store's already set up. So we're gonna peddle some of our wares at some of the flea markets around here.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
A long time ago, when we were in a similar situation, you made a crap ton of money reselling stuff on eBay.
Yep, I did.
So we're going to be fine.
But yeah, we'll be fine. Buy low, sell high, right? That's how it works.
Yep. And we might even get into the whole auction thing.
Yeah.
Buy it cheap on an auction and sell it for more on Marketplace.
Yeah.
All right. So what's next? We got to wrap up. I don't know what. I want to dive into all the different legends and all the different Bigfoot stories from this area.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna do some documentaries about the Texas Bigfoot.
I meant
Fouke, Arkansas is just 100 miles that way, and they get all the credit. You know, there's Bigfoot here too.
Somehow I don't think that Bigfoot is a respecter of state lines.
No, he's not. And we're in Rains County. Rains County is on the very western edge of what's called the Piney Woods of Texas. That's a geographical area in Texas called the Piney Woods, which is kind of
piney
and woods.
And very hot and humid.
And very hot and humid. Yeah, well, I about died the first day we got back, but I'm getting
He's tore up and down that he wasn't going to make it. I should just put him down now.
Yeah.
I got really close.
Yeah. So right now, it's actually because of the thunderstorms. It's cool outside right now. It's only 77 degrees and 68% humidity. Usually the humidity is about the same as the temperature here. So as Scott says, run if you hear banjos down there. Yep. We're in that country. So, and it's kind of swampy here today.
It stopped raining, I think.
It did. Wow. All right.
Anyway.
So that's what's going on in our lives. We just thought we'd let all y'all know.
And
Look,
again,
I said y'all.
our apologies to everyone up in the New England area. That will be our next stop after Oregon once we get sorted.
Yeah, once we get our lives sorted.
So, because we've got to go squatching with Jonathan.
We do.
Anyway, so next week, what are we diving into? Or do we know if we're going to have a next week? Tell you what, if you get an email, that means we're having one.
We're having one next week.
So
we'll probably keep them up for a while and see what's going on. It depends on what's going on. It depends on
if he has some of these VA appointments, they say, hey, can you show up tomorrow?
Yeah. And if you don't, we're going to just cancel your whole thing. So if you don't show up to the appointment, we're going to cancel your evaluation. That means you didn't want the.
They're a little bit snippy sometimes.
It's a pain.
And we're very grateful for our attorneys who are snippy right back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if there are any veterans out there who need to fight the VA, let me know and I will give you a referral.
A really good lawyer. So.
All right.
Thank you, brother. We will.
And
you too. And we definitely are going to come back to the playground.
Yep. And with that said, our job is to.
Oh no, you weren't ready.
Our job is to. I was totally ready. I'm always ready. Our job is to investigate the unexplained.
Not to explain the uninvestigated.
And to play with the hodags. So you keep watching.
We'll keep squatching.
Now, go out and find Bigfoot.
That damn Sasquatch.
They're squashing, they're searching, they're cracking some jokes. It's Scott and Hannah, your